Kinshasa, the capital of the Democratic Republic of Congo. A megalopolis of more than 12 million inhabitants is expected to grow to 20 million by 2030 and 26 million by 2040. It is the second largest populated city in sub-Saharan Africa following Lagos, Nigeria. Despite the great potential of Kinshasa city, due to limited workplace and opportunities, people tend to congregate in the urbanized area and near the city center. To the extent that 80% of the population is concentrated in the urbanized commune, which together accounts for only 3% of city total area. A paradox. The dramatic growth of the population and socio-economic activities in Kinshasa leads to a remarkable increase in the volume of passenger and goods traffic every day. The density of road network is largely insufficient to cope with the rapid population growth. We have to recognize that transport in the city of Kinshasa is not very well today. Firstly, we have a road network that is rather run down. But we might point out that the government, both national and provincial, are making efforts to rehabilitate the urban road network. Although the Boulevard Congo-Japan, ex-Avenue des Poids Lourds, was constructed and some arterial roads have been rehabilitated, the current road infrastructure is saturated, and it will not be possible to reduce traffic congestion with the existing network alone. In terms of road infrastructure, the city has developed very quickly, but the road network is, for the most part, the same as the settler left. And even the maintenance has not followed, which means that the coverage of the road network is currently not enough. In addition, almost 80% of the roads in Kinshasa city still remain unpaved and are littered with potholes in many places, slowing down traffic and causing huge traffic jams almost every day. In fact, one of the reasons for the traffic jam is that the road network is not good. The condition of the road is not as good, and there is also the problem of traffic regulation. Even if roads used to be paved, the surface conditions have become deteriorated. As if that wasn't enough, although new minibuses vehicles were introduced, many shared vehicles in Kinshasa are also becoming deteriorated. Traffic lights are rare or broken, and people sell their goods along the roadside, often on the ground. But that's not all. The people of Kinshasa really have problems getting around, moving around, because there is a lack of supply. There is no quality supply, we don't have mass transport. Despite the purchase of around 500 new buses for operation, public transport is less regulated and far more services are provided by private and individual drivers than the formal service, Transco. Traffic accidents are frequent and the flow of traffic is uncontrolled. The problem of road safety really arises because when you see on the roads of the city, you'll observe that people drive as they want, because most drivers are not trained, and they put you on a terrible road insecurity. The driving license has become a problematic element, whereas we should organize this granting. And we have also the vehicles which are not in very good condition. It's necessary to organize so that the vehicles which runs in the city of Kinshasa have a rather approachable technical level. Around major intersection and roundabout, many gets, which are shared taxis in Kinshasa city, and minibuses called taxibus are concentrated to attract passengers. A city which has 15 million inhabitants today, and maybe in 10 years a double. The bus alone is not enough. Today, the motorcycle, the Wewa have the role to play. If Wewa weren't there, we will have major transport problems. It's true that it's not quality offer, but unfortunately, it's apparently the most abundant offer. In great cities, this is the so-called mass transport. And the other form of transport, taxibus, coach, can perhaps be used as a support. It is absolutely necessary to introduce mass transport, particularly urban rail or BRT. As for railway transport, On the line from the central station to Kasangulu is still running, but its operation is quite limited. All this makes the daily life of the people of Kinshasa a real ordeal. Julie is a public servant and a mother. She lives in the suburb of Kinshasa. Every morning she has little time to spend with family as she has to leave her house early in order to get to work on time. Her office is located in the city center, about 24 kilometers from her home, a distance she can easily cover in half an hour by car under normal conditions. Yet, every day, the journey to work is a real struggle for her. First, a motorbike taxi takes her from the street to the bus stop. The place is already full of people. Everyone is looking for the slightest opportunity to catch a ride, and as soon as a vehicle shows up, only the most persistent manage to get there. On the long-distance buses, the line of passengers seems endless. After much effort, Julie finally finds a seat in a parked taxi bus. The hot air of the vehicle makes Julie sweat profusely. Then the vehicle moves on, bouncing from time to time on a road dotted with potholes. Then what has to happen happens. The vehicle falls into terrible traffic jam. A chorus of horns blows in a jarring cacophony of noise. Because of the lack of traffic lights, every driver demands the right of way. In the meantime, the minutes are ticking away. It takes Julie a long time to get out of this trap. She is exhausted when she arrives late at her destination, after more than 3 hours on the road. A torture, and it is to be experienced almost every day. In order to contribute to solving urban transport problems in Kinshasa City, the Urban Transport Master Plan in Kinshasa City, PDTK, was formulated in 2018 by the Ministry of Infrastructure and Public Work in partnership with the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA. The formulation process of the PDTK involved a range of actors, including various entities in the national government, such as the Ministry of Infrastructure and Public Work and the Ministry of Transport and Communication, but also in the provincial government of Kinshasa with coordination of the infrastructure unit. The infrastructure unit to play a role in the development of PDTK, supporting the mission of the JICA, and will play a role again in the new project that is being implemented, which is the project of strengthening capacity for the implementation of the Transport Master Plan in the city of Kinshasa. PDTK was officially approved by the Provincial Assembly of Kinshasa in 2019 as a sectoral Transport Master Plan for SOZAC, Strategic Orientation Scheme for the Kinshasa Metropolitan Area. PDTK delivers a strategic transport development program toward 2030 as a target year based on its long-term development vision toward 2040. The Transport Master Plan is an extremely important tool because you cannot develop a city without organizing transport. For the future special development scenario, to remedy the recurring problem of traffic concentration in Gombe, particularly on the 4 major arteries, Boulevard Lumumba, Boulevard Congo Japan or ex-Avenue Poilou, Route Matadi and 30th June Boulevard, new developments are planned not only in the east of Kinshasa, but also in the southern hills of the city. These developments will be distributed according to 3 urban codes: the Gombe Business District or Government Zone, the Njili Sub-Center and the Kimpogo Sub-Center. In the southern part of Kinshasa, the CCS-Kin new southern east-west corridor will also function as a major route connecting Matadi, the western and eastern part of Kinshasa and the central region of the DRC.
On ne peut pas faire la route.
You can just make the roads, otherwise you will lose the space, because there will be an agglomeration which will come. It's normally planned, when the study on the road is done, to also do the economic study to see which are the urban centers that can be installed along this road. And this is how we will have a growth corridor in the south. And that is the PDTK which proposed it.
Qui l'a proposé.
PDTK foresees a transport development network to support urban economic activities, to ensure equity in transport, to improve safety and security, and to achieve environmentally friendly transport. According to these objectives for the urban transport in Kinshasa, in total 120 projects are proposed for the bright future of Kinshasa. 2 railway projects, 7 BRT projects, 4 bus and paratransit projects, 78 road projects, 13 traffic management projects, 11 road safety projects, 2 waterborne transfer projects, and 3 institutional and financial arrangement projects. The road network will be extended and modernized. There are plans for strategic roads that will ensure the transport of heavy and long-distance goods, primary roads and secondary roads.
Dans la ville de Kinshasa, les gens circulent dans un mouvement pendulaire.
In the city of Kinshasa, people move around in the pendulum movement. People live in the neighborhoods and come to work in the town. So we made a network that takes into account certain functions of the city. And we try to distribute the road network in a such way that each Congolese, at first, could not go more than 2 kilometers without encountering a means of transport. The road was designed in that way. So it's really important to ensure the rehabilitation of both secondary and primary roads and strategic roads, especially the peripheries.
Secondaire, primaire et des routes stratégiques, notamment les périphériques.
In order to have safe roads for users, not only will road signs be improved, but also law enforcement officers will be required to enforce speed limits in a fair and equitable manner in a transparent manner. In addition, the road safety education and awareness campaign should be an ongoing activity to inform and remind road users of traffic rules and safety behavior. To organize transport in the city of Kinshasa, you need the provincial transport authority. It's really an institutional problem that must be resolved. Otherwise, we can't have the urban train, the BRT, the bus, the taxi. But if there is not an entity to organize them, it will be a total mess. General confusion. In terms of public transport, bus rapid transit corridors. BRT will be introduced on major arterial roads such as Boulevard Lumba and 30th June Boulevard, in which public transport demand is expected to become higher in the future. BRT is a high-quality bus-based system that delivers fast, comfortable and cost-effective transport services. Dedicated lanes with busways and BRT stations aligned to the center of the road are constructed. Each station will be equipped with a boarding platform with ticketing service. PTPS, Public Transport Priority System, such as priority signals, is installed to ensure punctuality and past traffic congestion. And therefore, we can have transport with fixed schedules that will be respected with a relatively short journey time. This will help the population a lot. New BRT lines will form a dense transport network to support mobility for Kinois. The South Line on Central Station Kasangulu will be rehabilitated to connect the city center in Gombe and the southern part of Kinshasa. In addition, the East Line on Central Station Njili Airport, abandoned in 2015, will be rehabilitated to support transport demand between the city center and the eastern part of the urbanized area in Kinshasa. These 2 lines will serve a fundamental transport service along these 2 transport corridors with high passenger demand. Finally, as a vision in 2040, these 2 lines are proposed to be electrified, and some elevated lines are also proposed as an alternative to realize further transit-oriented development in Kinshasa. In the implementation of the urban train, it is absolutely necessary to take a TOD, transit-oriented development approach. That means that we have the urban train that goes from Maluku to the city center, to the station, and along the way we have station, and around the station we proceed with development that will improve the landscape and the functionality of the city, which will be really fulfilled. With the future public transport network in 2030-2040, This PDTK proposal will form an integrated system of public transport with its dense network to cover the urbanized area in Kinshasa, and they will equally distribute social and economic opportunities to Kinois. With the new city map, Julie now has plenty of time to spend with family before going to the service. And she is no longer forced to get up early. Before leaving home, Julie uses her smartphone and accesses the application which provides information on the location of the bus that concerns her and its waiting time. She then walks along the comfortable, paved pedestrian road to the BRT station. She completes her formalities smoothly and quickly boards the bus. Inside, a clean environment makes her feel safe, and the smooth flow of traffic makes her feel more relaxed. And because the buses are punctual and the traffic lights give priority to public transport, Julie now arrives on time for her shift. She feels more motivated than ever because of the convenience of transport. As indicated in the plan, the implementation of the PDTK and the following up of the implementation work are assured by a multi-stakeholder council. The council consists of a joint steering committee and a technical working group. It is managed by the managing board, which is composed of the President's office, the Prime Minister's office, and the Minister of Infrastructure and Public Works, the Minister of Transport and Communication, and the Governor of the city. Proactive collaboration between the various local institutions is critical in collaboration with international organizations and public-private investors.
Voilà,
the PDTK has been elaborated, now it has to be implemented. The transport sector is a shared competence between the central government and the province. The two must therefore be able to work together to organize transport. And here, the institutional setup, in my opinion, is very important. The new project will help the DRC, in particular the City of Kinshasa, to have a structure that coordinates all action related to the development of transport in the City of Kinshasa. The CDUK is an extremely important organization. It is one of the pillars for the implementation for the PDTK. With regard to its mission, it's quite normal that the CDUK can be at the center to try to coordinate, to ensure coordination, to ensure a certain coherence, given that there are several transport projects and that transport is not an isolated sector. Transport is related to the other sector with planning, development, with the environment, with land affairs, with town planning and housing. Transport depends on several sectors, and several sectors depend on transport. By 2030, the 20 million people of Kinshasa will be able to move around easily. And everyone will have the right to choose the appropriate transport means that best suits their daily needs. The advantages of implementing the PDTK will be to have configured means of transport, where you have fixed timetables, where you can plan your trips. If we want to have an attractive city, a resilient city, a city that people can really enjoy, where it's good to live, where you can work easily, we must provide adequate means of transport. We need a quality offer in the field of transport. Astonishing growth in Kinshasa will help dazzle sub-Saharan Africa and get everyone's attention thanks to better mobility in Kinshasa to be delivered to Kinois through PDTK.